Hey guys, tonight we step into a world where the nearest bathroom is probably a patch of grass, a wooden bucket, or a suspicious-looking hole in the ground that everyone politely pretends not to notice. You wake before sunrise, surrounded by the quiet sounds of birds, distant livestock, and the faint smell of smoke drifting from cooking fires. It feels peaceful, until you remember one unavoidable fact. Nature is calling, and there isn't a single flushing toilet within 1,000 years of where you're standing. So yes, you probably won't survive this, at least not without developing a whole new appreciation for modern plumbing. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're settling in, let me know where you're listening from and what your local time is. It's always fun seeing how many corners of the world gather here for these sleepy history journeys. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The morning air feels cool as you wander away from the small settlement. There are no bathroom signs, no tiled floors, and certainly no rolls of soft paper waiting patiently on a holder. Instead, you simply look for privacy. A cluster of bushes will do nicely. A large tree works even better. The goal is simple. Stay far enough from where people eat, cook, and collect water. It sounds obvious to you, but for countless generations, this little decision quietly shaped human survival. Long before anyone imagined pipes hidden beneath city streets, people learned through experience that waste and drinking water should never become close neighbors. Nobody had microscopes. Nobody knew about bacteria or viruses. Yet communities slowly noticed that sickness often followed dirty water. Sometimes it took centuries to recognize patterns, but eventually traditions formed that helped keep everyone just a little healthier. Scholars still argue whether some of these habits came from careful observation or simple cultural customs passed from one generation to another. Whatever the reason, those early routines became some of humanity's first unwritten sanitation rules. As you continue your walk, the ground crunches beneath your feet. Wildflowers sway gently in the breeze. Somewhere nearby, a bird calls out before disappearing into the trees. Everything feels calm, almost surprisingly ordinary. History often focuses on battles, kings, and enormous monuments. Yet nearly every person who ever lived also had mornings exactly like this one. It's one of those wonderfully universal parts of being human. Of course, your search for the perfect private spot isn't entirely peaceful. You're also checking for snakes, insects, thorny plants, and perhaps an animal that would very much like you to choose another location. Suddenly, your morning routine feels slightly more adventurous than simply walking down a hallway at home. Modern bathrooms rarely require you to negotiate with wildlife. Once your business is finished, another practical question appears. How exactly do you clean up? Toilet paper, as you know it, simply doesn't exist here. Instead, people across different regions improvise with whatever nature provides. Smooth leaves, handfuls of moss, soft grasses, bits of cloth, water from a nearby stream, or even handfuls of sand may all serve the purpose depending on the climate and available resources. It isn't glamorous, it isn't comfortable, but it works well enough for people who have never known anything different. Oddly enough, many ancient solutions would probably surprise you with their creativity. Different environments encourage different habits, and every community gradually discovered what worked best in its own corner of the world. As the sun climbs a little higher, more people begin leaving the settlement. They greet each other casually, carrying baskets, tools, or bundles of firewood. Life continues without anyone making a dramatic announcement about where they have just been. Bathroom routines remain private, practical, and mostly unspoken. That quiet normality is perhaps the biggest surprise when we imagine the distant past. It's tempting to picture every aspect of life as wildly different from today. Yet people still wake up sleepy. They stretch, they yawn, they grumble about the weather, they worry about breakfast, and yes, they hope to find a little privacy before starting the day's work. Some things never really change. You stroll back toward the settlement, noticing that homes are spaced apart more than modern neighborhoods. Open land separates many buildings, allowing unpleasant smells to drift away instead of becoming trapped between walls. Fresh air does a remarkable amount of work when there are no ventilation systems. Children laugh while chasing one another through the grass. Dogs wander lazily between cooking fires. Someone sharpens a stone tool nearby with slow, rhythmic scraping sounds that blend into the peaceful morning. It almost feels cozy. Almost. Because every so often the wind reminds you exactly how limited prehistoric sanitation can be. Fortunately, people quickly become accustomed to the ordinary smells of daily life. Human noses are wonderfully adaptable. What seems overwhelming to an unexpected visitor often fades into the background for those who experience it every day. As you settle beside the morning fire, you realize something quietly remarkable. The story of toilets isn't really about toilets at all. Word count, 170.